Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. H1inc and HershelTv. Yeah, welcome to the podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the official podcast. H1inc and your boy, HershelTv. What we're going to talk about today, Corey?
Let's talk about sports.
Yeah. Free agency, man. Frenzy. NBA and NFL, man. What free agents did you keep a close eye on, man?
I mean, being a Colts fan, I'm paying attention to Peyton Manning. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Y'all got Andrew Luck now, man. Is it a guarantee? Is it a lock that this guy's going to go to Indianapolis coach, or y'all going to go out to RG3?
I think they're going to go after Luck, and I think it's going to not work out for him because RG3 can at least run, and Luck is just going to end up being like the next Rick Mirer or Joey Harrington or David Carr.
Wait. Rick Mirer was like 6'8". He was a giant. He was a giant tree stump. Andrew Luck supposedly is the best quarterback since John Elway. The same John Elway that lost 3 Super Bowls and then finally won 2 because of, I don't want to say his name.
Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, though, Rick Mirer went to Seattle and they had no offensive line. David Carr goes to Houston, they have no offensive line. Joey Harrington goes to Detroit, no offense. I mean, he's going to get his ass kicked, and Irsay is going to fire the offensive coordinator in a couple of years. He's going to be learning new playbooks all the time. It's not going to be like Peyton, where he had one offensive coordinator for 10 years straight, the same offensive line coach. I just don't think I think RG3 gives him a better opportunity to win, but I don't think they're going to take it.
But he's 6'5", about 230, solid. He can take the hits. This is what they've hyped this guy up for. I mean, when he was a sophomore, his junior year, they were all saying this guy's going to go. He could have went number 1 last year when he came out. So I think this guy's ready to withstand all these hits. He better get ready because Jeff Saturday ain't walking through that door.
Right, yeah, and I don't think you win games by taking hits. I think, if they lose enough games for 2-3 years in a row, they'll probably get some draft picks and be able to beef up that offensive line, but they don't really have a lot of cap space either. I mean, they're freeing it up trying to get rid of Freeney and getting rid of Dallas Clark and Joseph. I mean, they cleaned house. So
what they should have did, they should have kept Manning, and they should have traded him and got picks back, build talent around this young man. Pierre Garçon plays for the Redskins now, which RG3 is going to the Redskins. That's what I'm saying it right now.
Josh Morgan too.
Woo, man. Yeah. Okay.
What do you think about? Do you think Vincent Jackson? Okay, so I think the Vincent Jackson deal is better for Tampa Bay than the Mario Williams is for Buffalo because they spent the same amount of money on Mario Williams that Tampa Bay got Vincent Jackson, and they could get 2 or 3.
They got Knicks. They got the lineman. The dude
they got the lineman. They got Vincent Jackson, and they still have enough money to pick up 1 or 2 more really good quality players for the same money that Buffalo spent on Mario Williams.
Yeah, Mario Williams. You know what? I like him. He deserves his money. But like the New York Giants, man, they got a whole bunch of pass rushers and stuff. He's just one pass rusher. He's going to go to Buffalo, where they got my man Sean Marion, who's going to resurrect his career up there. I think they spent a little too much for him, but they need some type of defensive presence there. I mean, their defense was optimistic last year. I mean, they started off like 6-0, and then they finally came back down to earth. They need a pass rusher. Look at the division they're in.
Yeah, and they got a lot of good offensive pieces of the puzzle too with the running with Fred.
Fred Jackson.
Yeah, Fred Jackson.
And they got C.J. Spiller.
And they got C.J. Spiller, and they got Stevie Johnson.
And they got Ryan Fitzpatrick, who they paid in the middle of the season. What was it? You got $60 million. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I think they should have cut him or traded him, picked up Matt Flynn, kept Stevie Johnson. Instead of Mario Williams, I think they should have picked up on someone like Vincent Jackson or Brandon Lloyd and had Matt Flynn. Can you imagine Matt Flynn with Brandon Lloyd and Steven?
I can imagine Matt Flynn being another Kevin Cobb. I think he's overrated. I think the talent that he had there with Jermichael Finley, with all those weapons that they have in Green Bay, is the reason why Matt Flynn's good. He's going to go to Miami minus Brandon Marshall. Who's he going to throw the ball to now? Anthony Fasano? So I think Matt Flynn's a little overrated. Because this is what they did last year with Kevin Cobb. Oh, Kevin Cobb had 300-yard games, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now look at him. They're trying to take him out. They're trying to ship him out of town.
But they got a weak offensive line. That's why I go back to the Andrew Luck thing. I mean, look, Kevin Cobb can look great if you got a good offensive line. But really, I mean, Philly didn't really have that good of an offensive line either. And,
Well, that goes back to running quarterback. A lot of people bang on Michael Vick for running, But shit, do you blame them? Their line cannot block worth of shit, man. And RG3 he's a better thrower. What do you think? Does Michael Vick, does he have a better arm than RG3 or vice versa?
Man, I used to think Michael Vick couldn't really throw the ball, but one year he just sat back. It's not his first year back, but the second one, he opted to pass first, only run if he had to. And I think Michael Vick's got a hell of an arm. But RG3, man, I think he might be even more complete.
Is it the system, though? Because remember, in college football, there's only 4 or 5 teams that run NFL conventional football, and that's like Stanford Cardinal and a couple of other schools. And RG3 literally was in the shotgun, had speed on the outside, and could pretty much just throw his way to victory. He threw his way to a Heisman Trophy, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's a perfect fit with him. I think if I were him, I would rather go to the Redskins than to the Colts because they're bringing pieces in. Dan Snyder's signing blank checks, but he's getting in. Garcon, he probably dropped his pen signing his check because he drops a lot of passes. But he's fast and he does make a lot of good catches. And they brought in Josh Morgan too, right?
Yeah.
So, and they got a beast, Fred Davis, at tight end.
Yeah, but you got to understand, Mike Shanahan runs the ball. He runs that zone blocking scheme. Everybody knows that he uses like 4 or 5 different running backs. If you're a fantasy football fan, don't ever pick none of the running backs. You know what I mean?
Right, but I think that'll open the pass up because now people can't just stack the box on Hightower and
fucking Roy Halou Jr.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a good look for the Redskins, but the way Shanahan's been running it. John Beck and Rex Grossman, that he really considered those. Maybe he just knew, hey, we're just going to get a high draft pick next year. You know what I mean? To build for the future. But
okay, where's Peyton Manning going?
I think if he wants to actually win, he should go to San Francisco. But I think, they say, it's not about the money. He just wants to win championships. It's all about the money because if it was just about winning championships, he would have signed with San Francisco already.
Yeah, from the jump
for $7 million a year. But he's going to get what he was getting in Indy. He's going to get $20 million a year. He's going to get top quarterback money, which I think if he's healthy, and now he's putting it in his contract that he's not going to get paid if he gets injured. Like if his neck gets injured, he's not going to get some crazy bonus money and cash strap the team. But if it's all things being equal, why wouldn't you just go to San Francisco and win the championship? You have a better chance there than anywhere.
Well, you got to understand, Tennessee Titans are not only giving him the keys to a Ferrari, but they're giving him the house, they're giving him the boat. After football, he's gonna have a desk, he's gonna have an office. It's incredible what Tennessee is doing. The Tennessee marching band was there because he left Tennessee and then he won a national championship after that. So, and he's in the same division as the Colts. We don't know if Peyton Manning is one of those guys that likes revenge, but that could be one of the reasons why he signs with Tennessee, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I think the only reason I think he should sign with Tennessee is so he could beat the Colts twice a year, make Bob McNair, the owner of the Texans, look like an idiot for talking shit.
Yeah.
And I think that, he knows the division well. And you got Kenny Britt, Nate Washington, Chris Johnson. They just signed Hutchins at guard.
Wow. Yeah.
So I think that's a good look, too. Denver has $40 million in cap space, so they could go after Dallas Clark. Yeah. They could possibly. Brandon Lloyd's waiting on signing with New England because he's debating going to San Francisco if Peyton goes there. In San Francisco, though, you got Randy Moss, and they say he's back to running 4-3.
Yeah.
Peyton ain't going to let you not be motivated. So
exactly.
If you got Randy Moss, Brandon Lloyd, and Peyton Manning, and in Denver,
hold on, you forgot Vernon Davis.
Yeah, well, Vernon Davis.
He's a wide receiver at tight end. He's probably the fastest guy on the team.
Exactly. And I used to think, well, he's going to, Peyton wants to bring Reggie and Dallas Clark. Peyton wants to win a championship. I don't think he cares about those guys like that. Personally, he probably does, but professionally, it's like, hey, go get your money wherever you got to get it. I think if he goes to Denver, he's going to bring Dallas Clark with him and Jeff Saturday, which I think is a good look. And Brandon Lloyd might go to Denver if Peyton goes. So I think a lot of
but Brandon Lloyd just left Denver. Like, they traded him because of the whole Tebow factor. You think they'll bring Brandon Lloyd back?
I think Peyton, they're going to give any team that Peyton goes to besides the Niners. The Niners already has the pieces in place. Denver is going to give him the keys to the city, like the general manager. I know Elway's running stuff, but they basically told him, look, if you come here, we got a $40 million bank account. Who do you want? We're going to get them, and we're going to let you run the offense the way you want to run it.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh is not really going to let him do that. But at the same time, I don't think he would need to with Jim Harbaugh because you already got Frank Gore, fucking Vernon Davis,
Kendall
like
Hunter, backup running.
Yeah, Kendall Hunter's hell of
a stout defense.
Exactly.
You know, the thing is, though, with Brandon Lloyd's going to go where Josh McDaniels goes, because Brandon Lloyd excelled and had his best numbers with Josh McDaniels. He's going to go over there and he's going to teach H1inc how to learn the fucking playbook. I'm a big H1inc fan, and I think H1inc needs Brandon Lloyd. But back to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's going to end up, in my opinion, he's going to end up in Tennessee. I hate to say it, he's going to go to Tennessee, and you're saying he's going to end up in...
You know, I don't think there's a front runner in that situation, because I don't think Peyton is just gonna. They all look like they're front runners, but I think Peyton, just like he studies film, I think he's gonna wait till Monday or Tuesday, and he's gonna say, okay, all the money being the same, where do I want to go? Where do I have the better chance of winning? He may not want to go to San Francisco because he doesn't, he wants to play his brother in a Super Bowl. But in my opinion, he's only got 3 or 4 good years left if he stays healthy, and you got to pick the team that's going to give you a better chance to win. I think he's going to end up in Denver. It's like a toss-up, dude. I really can't tell. I think San Francisco is in the background, but they give him the best chance.
They're creeping up, though. They're coming up.
But Tennessee and Tennessee and Denver, they both give him a pretty good opportunity. A lot of people say that Denver had a great defense, but really, man, they give up 40 points a game 6 or 8 times last year.
Well, you got Tim Tebow, 3 and outs, consistently, like, not throwing the ball down the field. Their defense was probably tired, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Peyton gives you instant, your defense gets better immediately.
Yeah, he averaged the first down with Peyton Manning. That's the bottom line. And the thing about Tim Tebow, he's going to go to Jacksonville. Him and Jones-Drew can run an option crap, but Tim Tebow needs to find a new home, because Denver's not the place for him. John Elway and John Fox they're not going to have that last year. Yeah, Tim Tebow put out a lot of miracles, but
that was only because the defense kept him in games. And Tim Tebow, of course, got all the credit, just like Jeremy Lin got all the credit. We'll talk about that later, though. Yeah.
So, switching gears, man. I wanted to talk to you about. We're gonna go to the NBA, man. We're gonna talk about this whole Linsanity thing and about the New York Knicks and the state of mind of the New York Knicks now. Is Carmelo Anthony a ball hog to you?
I think he is. I don't really like Carmelo Anthony, to be honest.
You don't like him as a person or as a basketball player?
As a basketball player, I think he's, and this is, I don't think this has to do with the player themselves. These guys aren't just on a team. This isn't pickup basketball, you and your buddies. These are guys that are getting paid a lot of money, and they don't just have coaches in their ear, but they got agents in their ear saying, look, if you average 30 points a game, your next contract, I'm going to be able to get you X amount of dollars. So you need to go out there and do it. So instead of maybe giving the ball up every once in a while, they're looking out for themselves. Yeah, they want to win, but at the same time, it's a business, right? So I don't want to say he's just a ball hog, and I don't like him because of that, but I just don't think he's, as much as I don't really like Kobe personally, but I think Kobe is better than LeBron. I think he's better than, as far as a complete player.
He's got 5 rings, though, so yeah. He's been in the league for so long. The thing about Carmelo Anthony, George Karl said it, we can win without this guy, and they've won more games without Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony's a scoring machine. He can play defense. I remember in the U.S. Team or whatever, he played lockdown defense. He's not doing that now. The thing is, Mike D'Antoni, the reason why he got fired, he did not emphasize defense enough. And the whole thing about Jeremy Lin is a good basketball player. He's not a Steve Nash. D'Antoni tried to make him a Steve Nash, and their team is built. They have about 5 guys that are one-on-one players, and Amari Stoudemire is he's a shell of himself. Mm-hmm. And the New York Knicks are going to make the playoffs, but they better get the 6th seed, because if they play Miami or Chicago, it's a wrap. They're going to get swept.
What do you think about Miami?
Well, I like Miami. I think they should have got another piece. I think they either should have got another shooter, or they should have got another post player. Because right now they got 6'9" Joel Anthony playing the center, and if they play Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm not saying Kendrick Perkins is a beast or anything, but Kendrick Perkins will bang him around. I'm afraid that Chicago might eliminate the Miami Heat. I like the Miami Heat. I love LeBron James, what he's doing. A lot of people get on him about, he doesn't have a clutch gene, or he's not a clutch player. LeBron James is a bad boy, man. There's not that many 6'8", 6'9" guys that can bring the ball up, but it's Dwayne Wade's team. He knows how to win. I know what you're going to say about the NBA Finals of 2006. He got a whole bunch of, calls and all that. But Dwayne Wade's a bad boy. Let Dwayne Wade be the closer. You be the starter. Let Dwayne Wade be the closer. And Chris Bosh just throw him in there. I don't like Chris Bosh's game, but he's still a pretty good player.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think about What do you think about the Lakers, man? They got rid of Derek Fisher. They got younger. They got more athletic. What do you think about the Western Conference? Because you got guys like San Antonio. I don't understand how they keep winning, but
I don't either. I think San Antonio is on its way out. I mean, I don't care what the record is. I don't care how they keep winning. But, I mean, Tim Duncan's 55 years old. You know what I mean? I just don't think that's a good look long term. But, I mean, they keep finding ways to win. Yeah, so what do you say? What can you say about that?
The thing about them is they got 3-point shooting. And I remember, because they won like every year, 2003, 2005, 2007. They had 3-point shooting. Now they got Steven Jackson, who's a 3-point shooter, who's a tough, nitty-gritty guy. He's from Port Arthur, Texas, and he's back in San Antonio. They got guys, a guy named Gary Neal. Have you heard of a guy named Gary Neal?
No.
He played for the Austin Toros, man. This guy can shoot better than anybody in the league. There's a guy named Danny Green who was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who was sitting on the end of the bench next to LeBron James. He was fucking tying LeBron James' shoes. This guy is now one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. And they got some guy named Matt Bonner. Tony Parker's an MVP candidate. He's not going to win it. I think LeBron's going to win again, but San Antonio's a tough team. But if they run into somebody like Memphis again, I think Memphis might take him out again.
Good.
Okay, well, a lot of people were talking about this whole LeBron James closing thing. What is your opinion on that, man? Like, I mean, people are nitpicking everything that this guy does and says. Do you really think the media is hard on LeBron James? I know you don't like him, but
I don't like him, but I think, people say, he's not clutch or he's not. Not everybody's going to be Robert Horry. What would people say if Michael Jordan had missed that shot, against Utah? There's a lot of things. Not everybody's going to be Michael Jordan. Not everyone. But look, it's a team sport, and clutch, does it come down to one player? If everybody else did their job, maybe Jordan had more people playing their role better. You know what I mean? Yeah. Jordan had people playing defense. Scottie Pippen, defensive player. Yeah. Dennis Rodman, defensive player. Yeah. So you had
Ron Harper.
Yeah, exactly. So you have, I just think the dynamics changed to where I don't think you can really pin it on LeBron James not being a closer. He's not a point guard. He's not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's a point forward. He's a point forward.
Yeah. He does move, like you said, 6'8", however tall he is. He moves like a point guard.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, he's a hell of a player. I don't think you can put it on, I don't think you can just blame it on him for not being clutch. And that goes back to Peyton Manning. You say, well, he's not really clutch. Tom Brady's clutch. Well, Tom Brady had 7 Pro Bowlers on defense. Mm-hmm. They were winning Super Bowls by 3 points. Tom Brady won an MVP, his first Super Bowl MVP. He only threw for 145 yards and 1 touchdown. But he had the best field goal kicker of all time, kicking 52-yard field goals to win by 3 points. So can you say Tom Brady's clutch and Peyton Manning isn't? Or is it Reggie Wayne was injured in the Super Bowl? Hank Baskett muffed that onside kick. Yeah. Kier Garcon dropped a crucial pass. So I don't think you could blame it all on LeBron James not being clutch. I don't like him personally for other reasons. It goes all the way back to when he was first signed and in that stupid hour-long, bullshit he pulled. Yeah. But I don't think it reflects anyway on how he is as a player. I don't think he's a greedy player. I think he wants to win. I think he knows his legacy is going to be tied to how many rings he has. Yeah. If he doesn't win a ring, he's going to be another Charles Barkley.
Yeah, he's going to be another Charles Barkley. Okay. What about this whole... because a lot of people are complaining. Oh, Dwight Howard stayed. A lot of people are like, that's great, he stayed. And they're talking about all these guys teaming up to be on one team to form like a super team. But I look back, man. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played for the Milwaukee Bucks. Magic Johnson was like, hey, man, you want to come over and play with us? Bob McAdoo played for the San Diego Buffaloes or something like that. He went to the Lakers. They've been doing this for a long time. Now, there's some teams like the Boston Celtics. You had Bird, Parrish, and Dennis Johnson. Those guys were there from the beginning. Well, Dennis Johnson, I think he played for some Seattle Supersonics. But this has been happening for a long time. Look at the Rockets team. They put together that Rockets team at the last minute with Olajuwon, Barkley, and Drexler. And then you got guys like Barkley and older guys that are bitter and that are just pissed off or whatever, saying, you should just stick with one team. Charles Barkley, what are you saying? You play with the Rockets. Why don't you stick with the Phoenix Suns? Like, what do you think about that?
Or even the 76ers.
Yeah, why you stick with the 76ers? Like, I know y'all got Manu Bol and all that, but hey, you're a star player. They're not doing that no more. Like, NBA does not, it's not all about parity. The NBA will never have parity. People People want to see Boston. They want to see LA. They want to see Los Angeles. They want to see teams like that. Nobody cares about the Sacramento Kings or the Memphis Grizzlies winning a championship. And that's what people don't understand. People want to go to Miami. LeBron James outplayed his contract. It was time to go.
And, would you rather live in Cleveland or Miami?
You already know. You saw my video on that.
Yeah.
Come on. It's South Beach. I mean, it's New York City. It's New Jersey. It's Chicago. Those are the places that you want to go. Memphis. Now, Oklahoma City might break that barrier. San Antonio, I mean, you know what I feel about San Antonio. San Antonio is a pathetic city, but they break that barrier. It's a smaller market, but they won championships. But most of the championships have been Chicago, Boston, New York, Los Angeles. That's where people want to go. Nobody wants to see the Charlotte Bobcats versus the Indiana Pacers. No disrespect. Who wants to see that? Nobody wants to see it. They want to see the big teams. Even Dallas is up there.
Yeah, I like seeing small market teams like the Pacers, when they were trying to win way back in the day, because it's like a long shot. But number one, you're going to attract better players or higher price players, free agents, because bigger market teams have more money to spend.
Exactly.
But it doesn't always work out. I mean, I don't even really like to talk about baseball much, but look at the baseball teams now. You had a team like the Florida Marlins or whoever it was beating the Yankees, and the payrolls were like 40 or 100 million versus 400 million, just some crazy stuff. But I mean, I don't, like you said, Oklahoma may break the barrier on that because they got some good players.
Ooh, you know what? Speaking of that, man, the reason why I think Oklahoma City maybe just a little bit short is because of the whole Westbrook and Durant thing. Kevin Durant is a star. He's a superstar. He's the best player on that team. Westbrook wants to be the best player on that team. You could just tell. I mean, I look at the box scores and I see 19 for 28 or, and then I look at Westbrook, it's like 18 for 29, wherever the hell it is. And I'm like, why the hell is Westbrook shooting more shots than Kevin Durant? You're a point guard. And he has a lot of turnovers. That's going to be their downfall. They're still a young team. Turning the ball over is going to be their downfall.
And that goes back to Jeremy Lin. I think Jeremy Lin's a hell of a player, but if you look at his games, even when they won and he pulled it out, he'd have 8-9 turnovers.
Turnover machine, yeah.
So, I mean, but you know what? I think Jeremy Lin's a good story, too.
Great story. That's a great story.
And he wasn't even supposed to be in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that story better than the Tim Tebow story because the media, like you got guys like Skip Bayless. I mean, they dedicated a whole block for this guy. Jeremy Lin's story, this guy, Tim Tebow was a star in high school, star in college, and he just came to, this is not an underdog story. Fucking Tim Tebow's not an underdog, okay? Jeremy Lin's an underdog. I mean, first of all, he's Asian. He went to Harvard. He didn't even get a scholarship in his hometown, which is Palo Alto.
And now he's winning ball games in New York.
Yeah. With Carmelo Anthony.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Well, look, go ahead.
No, yeah. What else do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about boxing, man. Okay. I want to talk about Manny Pacquiao, and I want to talk about my man, Floyd Mayweather. Is that fight ever going to happen?
I don't think it's ever going to happen, and I'll tell you why. I think it should happen for the fans, but after watching Pacquiao's last go round, I mean, he really got kind of dominated, even though they gave him the win. I watched that fight twice.
He got lucky, man.
He got beat, and Mayweather, as much as I don't really like him personally, I think he's the best pound for pound fighter. He's number one. He's never lost, and people could say, yeah, well, he should have lost to a couple of these other guys back in the day. And I went back and watched those fights, and those were really close too. You could have said he could have lost, but he doesn't get hit. When he does get hit, I mean, he's so crafty at making you miss close in and making you expend your energy. And I know Pacquiao throws from all kind of angles and all that, but Pacquiao has lost a step.
Yeah.
And the reason I don't think it's going to happen is because Pacquiao wants a 50-50 deal, and Mayweather's saying, no, I'm not giving you 50-50.
And I don't blame Mayweather for that, man. I mean, Mayweather, he's a bigger name. Yeah, Pacquiao is big. The Hispanic community loves Pacquiao. They hate Mayweather. Mayweather is undefeated. Pacquiao's lost fights. Okay, until Mayweather gets knocked on the canvas, he's offering what, 60-40? That's pretty good, right?
I can't remember. It might be 60-40. That's really good. And the thing is, offer him a deal that says, look, okay, Pacquiao, you don't want to take 60-40, take 60-40. If you beat me, you could have 70-30 on the rematch.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, is Pacquiao's a great fighter. I'm not going to take that away from him. But all he's doing is knocking out Mayweather's leftovers. I mean, Mayweather beats Ricky Hatton, knocks him out.
Yeah.
Pacquiao knocks him out in more spectacular fashion. But, like, look when Roy Jones got knocked out. Then everybody started knocking him out.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. Now he's just damaged goods.
Yeah.
So all these guys that Pacquiao is destroying are damaged goods from Mayweather putting that ass whoop on him.
Yeah, this guy knows boxing, man. This guy knows boxing. Well, I want to see him fight, and I hope they do fight. I think this fight that Cotto is no slouch. Okay, it's Cotto, right?
Yeah.
He's and it's on Cinco de Mayo. I don't know why he picked that fight, but and then who's Pacquiao fighting? Do you know who's he fighting?
I can't remember who. I'll have to look that up.
Just some joker, man. But
Cotto, I think Cotto's a hell of a fighter. I think Cotto is almost damaged goods because when Margarito beat him and he had that fist wrap and all that, I think that, look what happened. I don't know if you remember as far back as Julio Cesar Chavez and Meldrick Taylor. Meldrick Taylor was beating his ass for a majority of the fight, but then he started getting caught. He's like brain damaged now.
Wow.
Well, you get hit in the head for 12 rounds, or how many ever rounds? I don't think Cotto lasted but 7 or 8 against Margarito on the first time around, but he was getting hit with plaster, dude. I mean,
that's not good.
no. So I just don't think. I think it's kind of like when Fernando Vargas used to be the shit. Then he got knocked out a couple times, and he was just damaged goods. I think boxers have a shelf life that once you knock them out, it makes them susceptible to get knocked out. You know what I mean? I don't know if they go out there. Look at Jermaine Taylor.
Yeah, Jermaine Taylor.
That white boy. What's his name? Kelly Pavlik. Knocked his shit out. I mean, he had Kelly Pavlik almost out on his feet, but Kelly Pavlik has a hell of a chin. Kelly Pavlik came out, knocked him out, and what did he do the next time? Knocked him out again, or beat his ass up for 12 rounds. It's kind of like the damage good. I think once you get knocked out, or if it's a quick knockout, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
But when you get pummeled for 7, 8, 9 rounds, and then you get knocked out,
it takes a toll on you, man.
Yeah.
Well, to sum it all up, man, these guys need to fight to save boxing because, quite frankly, boxing is so boring. I mean, I got a friend named James Kirkland, and he fights, and I don't even know about it. Like that boxing after dark. I mean, they're showing boxing on
Friday
ESPN.
night fights, yeah.
I mean, these guys need to save boxing, and they have a chance to. And that's pretty much all I got to say about boxing.
Yeah. What else? We covered pretty much basketball, football. I don't really talk.
I don't do baseball. I don't do hockey. Let's do a little bit about the NCAA tournament. My bracket's pretty much busted. I had Missouri winning the national championship, beating Kentucky. I don't know. Have you checked out any of the? I
don't really follow college basketball that closely, so I can't even really give any good commentary.
Final score 49-43. That's pathetic.
It's hard for me to get excited about that. That's why I can't really watch hockey because I don't really like the whole ice skating thing. I know I'm not going to disrespect it. I know it takes talent. I couldn't get on there and skate.
Those guys can fight.
They can fight, and they are talented. I mean, skating around a rink. But anything that can end 1-0, and look, I love playing baseball, but anything that could end 1-0, or by penalty kicks, or 1-0, like a home run in the 11th inning, I just don't really have the patience to sit there. This shit's boring. Now I know it takes skill to pitch and to be able to hit a 102-mile-an-hour fastball and curveballs. I respect what they do. I just don't enjoy watching.
It's just not your thing. Baseball's not my thing. I apologize. I mean, golf is not my thing neither. And which brings me to the last thing we're going to talk about today is Tiger Woods. Is Tiger Woods ever going to catch this guy? Is he going to win the Masters? Where do you see Tiger Woods in the next 10 years?
It's almost like the damaged goods thing, dude. I think that wife, when he had got up in that scandal and then he had his knee surgery. I mean, his dad died. I mean, look what happened. This isn't a tangent, but look what happened to Mike Tyson when Customato died. Yeah. Look what happened to Tiger Woods when his dad died. Yeah. Look what happened to
Michael Jordan.
Look what happened to him. I mean, he had a pretty clean image. Yeah. And after his dad died, he started getting involved in the gambling scandal thing and womanizing and shit. Now, I'm not saying they wouldn't do this if their dad was around, but when you have a father figure that you kind of don't want to disappoint, it kind of keeps you in check a little bit. Yeah. Whereas these guys I just don't see Tiger Woods. I really hope, kind of like the Michael Vick thing, I want to see a redemption story. Like, hey, I messed up, but I'm going to get dedicated to this again. But I don't know if he changed his golf swing and he started doing well, but then the injuries, he's getting a little bit older.
There's a theory out there. Remember when this whole HGH thing was going on? They said there was rumors that Tiger Woods was taking that stuff, man. And he is kind of jacked up. I'm not saying that's the reason why. Maybe he got off of that stuff and his game is not as the same as it was. I mean, look at some of the baseball players. Look at Roger Clemens. Look at the whole HGH thing in general. I think Tiger Woods may have been on it. He may have taken a cycle of that stuff, and that's when he was killing everybody. He was dominating. And psychologically, I mean, the stuff that's been going on in his life, man, it can affect a man.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
And people need Tiger Woods. Golf needs Tiger Woods more than Tiger Woods needs golf.
I used to pay attention to golf
Yeah,
when Tiger
me too.
Woods was winning. I would always want to tune in on Saturday or Sunday if he was 2 strokes down, or sometimes he'd be 6 strokes down and win by 4 strokes.
Yeah.
But now when it's like he's like 8th or 10th in the pack and he's 8 strokes back, and it's like,
And then you got these other guys emerging. They're not scared of him anymore. See, Mike Tyson used to scare people. Michael Jordan would scare people. Tiger Woods was the same way. He's not like that anymore. He's got to start.
The mystique is gone.
Yes, the mystique is gone. He's got to start winning. I mean, physically, I think he still has it. It's all about the mental. And God, he's so rich, man. If I can just have some of his money, I mean, he can't pay somebody to teach him how to fucking swing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think the mental thing. It's once you lose your mystique. Once Mike Tyson got knocked out, people weren't afraid of him anymore. And Custom Auto had died. He kind of lost his way. He was drinking a lot. He wasn't training for fights. But I don't think Tiger Woods is the type of player that is not going to put his all into it. I think if anybody could come back and be as dominant, it would be Tiger Woods.
Yeah. I hope he does, man. Not because he's a black man, because remember, he doesn't claim that he's black. So I just hope, I want to see him excel, because I'm tired of hearing about these other jokers, man. I mean, letting these little scrawny little dudes beat him. Tiger Woods should be dominating right now. And hopefully he'll get back to form here pretty soon, man.
Hey, let's go back to the NFL real quick. What do you think about the implications of the bounty scandal with the Saints? Now, I know it's football, and you're always trying to knock the quarterback out because obviously you have a better chance of winning with the starting quarterback out. But do you think it taints their? Look, Peyton Manning's neck injury got pinned back, not to the Saints, but when Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator for the Redskins, that hit they put on Peyton Manning where they were holding him up and pulling his neck back, that's where his neck injury happened. They're 99% sure. So do you think this pay to injure? Now, I know you want to knock people out. You're like, I don't mind hard hitting. I don't like to see the helmet to helmet trying to injure a player. I mean, it's all a business, and these guys, you play against them, you play with them at the Pro Bowl, you may be their teammate later. What do you think about paying to injure a player?
I think a lot the guys that are doing this, the guys that are out there putting these hits, are guys that aren't making that much money. You know, you're not asking Brian Dawkins or high price guys to do it. There's this guys that need this money, more than the stars. And I think that shit's true, but I think it goes way back to Buddy Ryan and those guys. I think it's illegal. I think it's cheap shot. But you got guys like Rodney Harrison. I mean, ain't no telling what Belichick had those guys out there doing.
Well, yeah, they said that. Well, that's how they beat the Colts in the AFC Championship game, was mugging them, and. But how do you think that it has? Do you think it'll taint them winning their championship the way Spygate or whatever you call it tainted? Do you think they're going to get? What do you think their penalty is going to be?
Oh man, they're going to take some draft picks. I think Sean Payton's going to miss a couple of games, but. If Drew Brees, which I think this year Tampa Bay is going to beat them. I think Tampa Bay is going to win that division. Maybe Atlanta. I don't know. Atlanta's overrated. I think it's going to taint them this season, maybe. But if they keep winning like the Patriots, all that stuff goes away.
Do you think that's why Randy Moss opted not to go to the Saints?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean,
but why wouldn't you want to play with Drew Brees? Why would you go? You'd rather go play with Alex Smith than you play with Drew Brees?
Because Randy Moss is weird like that, man. I mean, I don't know the guy personally. I just think he's weird like that. Maybe he just like.
Maybe he likes the weather.
He just liked the scenery out there. I mean, for God's sake, he went to Oakland. He went to a dysfunctional team out there.
Yeah, maybe he likes the Bay.
Maybe he likes the Bay Area. So, I mean, that field is not really that good. I mean, they're playing at Candlestick Park still.
I think that's an indicator that Peyton might be going there. Because it came out that Peyton was working he worked out for them.
Well, they came out of nowhere. I was like, San Francisco. I looked at the sports ticket. I was like, what? He worked out for the 49ers?
Yeah, but it was like right around the same time they signed Moss. Maybe he's giving these guys like Denver and all these other guys an opportunity to pitch him.
To step their game up.
And it may be to boost the money, too, to get a bidding war going,
I think Harbaugh's going to have to, because, Harbaugh's great coach, whatever. Look, Harbaugh's going to let Peyton Manning do his thing. If you want to win a Super Bowl, let Peyton Manning run his offense. They're going to run the ball. Their defense is going to be stout. Everything's going to be fine. Let Peyton Manning run that offense. Because you saw the plays that they were running in the NFC Championship game. You got Alex Smith running a damn quarterback sweep and all that.
He only completed one pass for 3 yards to wide receivers in the NFC Championship. Peyton Manning's not going to do that. Now
he's got look at this. He's got Vernon Davis to throw it to. Michael Crabtree is better. He'll catch the ball way better than Pierre Garçon. No disrespect to Pierre Garçon. I mean, he's going to make these guys look like
all-stars. You got Crabtree, Moss. Now Manningham is on the fence.
Wow.
He's waiting to see if Peyton signs with the Niners to see if he wants to sign with them.
Wow.
Also, I mean, can you imagine Peyton Manning? Can you imagine if? I know it's a long shot, but if Peyton Manning wins a Super Bowl with the Niners and Manningham would win back-to-back Super Bowls with Eli and Peyton.
That's incredible.
But can you imagine Manningham, Vernon Davis, Michael Crabtree,
Randy Moss?
Randy Moss.
Maybe Dallas Clark.
Oh, well, Vernon Davis. They got Vernon Davis.
Oh, yeah, and then they got the other guy behind him, too. So that's true.
But Frank Gore, I mean, that defense, man, that's just like nobody would want to play them.
Nobody. And look at the division they're in. Who's going to beat them in the West?
That's why I think if Peyton Manning wants the best opportunity to win, absolutely. And
he's a very smart guy.
And if he signs by Monday or Tuesday, he has opportunity to build that rapport with the player.
Yeah, and they're going to roll out the red carpet for him, man. Well, that's going to be all today, man. Hey, this has been fun, man. This is our first podcast. We're gonna touch every angle of sports, mainly football, basketball, and boxing and stuff like that. But if you guys have any questions, or just let us know, man. Hit us up, man.
Yep. Hope y'all enjoyed it.
All right, check it out, man. It's H1inc and your boy HershelTv, man. We're signing out, man. Check it out.
BreakTheWrist.net.
Yes, sir.